Hey everybody, Andy here. Now I wanted to put together a video on the GameCube and its video quality and how to go about obtaining that, because Nintendo around this time made things really difficult with region coding and certain systems only outputting certain signals, video quality for certain regions. It's kind of convoluted and difficult. So if you're, a serious gamer and you really want to get the best video quality out of your GameCube, it isn't the easiest thing to go about. So I wanted to put this video together kind of showing the there's really 5 ways to get 5 different types of video quality to get from your GameCube. There's Composite, which you're seeing now, which is your typical yellow cable with the 2 stereo white and red. Then there's S-Video. Then there's RGB. Then there's Component. And then there's another option, which is Component out of an early generation Wii. And I want to talk about all those and see which one's best for you. Just to start off though, the best video quality possible is the component cables out of the GameCube itself. The problem with that is they're extremely expensive, they're hard to find, they're rare. The ones on eBay, I just checked, are going for $250 for a cable. If you have the money or you're willing to spend that money to get the best video quality out of your GameCube, you do need to take into consideration that you will still need the original composite cables because you'll need them for the audio. So don't get rid of those. And on top of that, make sure your GameCube is capable of outputting component. The later GameCube models, they took the serial port out of the hardware, so it doesn't even have the capability of outputting component. And if you have a European model, a PAL region, it's not available there either. So just keep that in mind. If you are willing to spend the money, don't just go buy and go, crap, I got the wrong GameCube. It's not going to work. So hands down, component out of the GameCube is the best. But it's so expensive that I almost consider it not an option. Then there's composite, which you were just looking at, which is probably the most cost-efficient, easiest, best option if video quality isn't a problem for you. Every HD TV nowadays and old TVs have composite input on them. You should have no problem with using that cable on modern TVs. You shouldn't get any delay or whatever as long as you put your TV in gaming mode. But in my opinion, that's probably the least favorable option because the video quality is very degraded and I really don't like the way composite video looks. Here is S-Video that you're looking at, which is a great option for the price. You can get S-Video cables on eBay for like $8. And as long as your TV has an S-Video port, you'll probably need an older high-def TV or an older CRT TV to have an S-Video port because they're pretty much discontinued nowadays. You don't see them. If you have a more modern TV, you can buy converters, S-Video composite to HDMI for pretty cheap. They're not the greatest things in the world. They do give you lag, but they're not a terrible option. But if you have an S-Video port, spend the $8 and use the S-Video cable. It's definitely worth it. It's a huge jump in video quality. At the end of this video, you'll get side-by-side comparisons and more still videos. I mean, still pictures that you'll be able to see a lot better which video quality is better and which one you think is worth purchasing and going with. Because I do side-by-sides and they're stills. It's hard sometimes to tell when everything's moving around real fast and they have fast cuts like this how much better the video quality is. So again, if that doesn't matter to you, just go with the composite or the S-Video. It's the easiest, most available options and your gaming experience is the same, you shouldn't get any lag with the two if you're just inputting them into your TV. Coming up here is RGB. Now RGB is beautiful. If in my opinion, I love the way RGB looks on the GameCube. And the problem with RGB is it's only available on PAL consoles natively. You can get it modded. I'm not sure if anyone really does it, but it's possible. And I'm sure it'd be really expensive. So if you live in Europe or you have a PAL console or you're willing to import one, they're not that expensive. The problem with that is then you have region coding. So then you can only play PAL games unless you're willing to, again, buy a modded region switch for your GameCube, or you have the soldering skills. If you have soldering skills, go for it. You can buy the Xeno mod for $10. And I'm not sure how hard it is to mod, how many connections there is. But if you have soldering skills and you're good with electronics, go for it. The mod's $10. You can buy a PAL GameCube for probably $50. Get a cable, a SCART cable, RGB SCART cable, for $15. That being said, don't go cheap on SCART cables. You will have sync issues. I've gone cheap on a couple other consoles. They just end up not working, and you end up spending more money in the long run. Just buy yourself a good SCART cable for whatever system you're using RGB for. Back to what I was saying. So you can spend probably about, on the high end, with a converter and everything, probably $150. You can get an RGB capable, region modded GameCube with a converter and the cable for about $150. If you don't have a GameCube in the first place, and you might be importing games, which I do. I play a lot of Japanese games. I don't even know if I have any PAL games, but I got a good amount of Japanese games. So I do use the GameCube region switch a lot. So it's worth it to me for $150 to get great video quality with RGB. I find that option being the best. But again, if you don't want to spend $150, you already have your own GameCube, go and use Composite or S-Video, and they're excellent options. Here you're seeing Component, but it's through the Wii. If you have an early model Wii, they are all capable of playing GameCube games. You need to have a GameCube controller and you need a GameCube memory card, but they are fully capable of playing GameCube games without any problem. I do see, you'll see coming up that there are, in my opinion, that the video quality is better with RGB natively out of the European GameCubes. But this is a good option. It'll also save you space and money if you already have a Wii. Now you don't even need to have a GameCube. You can use a Wii. You can spend $10 on a GameCube component cable. You can get pretty good video quality, and you can play Wii games. But again, if you want to play import games or whatever, then Wii is also region locked. But living in America, that's not terrible because most people don't play imported games. So you have that option. You got your composite video, which everyone has. All TVs, unless you have a really old CRT TV, have composite video inputs. The second option, which is probably your best and most cost efficient, if you have a TV that has an S-Video port, that will give you great video quality for very cheap. Your second option is getting a PAL region European console, have an which outputs SCART, RGB. Like I said, the problem with that is then you need to get it region modded unless you only want to play European games. And then this is your fourth option, is component through your Wii. The video quality, in my opinion, is not quite as good as RGB, but it is still very good. And then your fifth option is your extremely expensive $250 component GameCube cables that are extremely expensive. I guess the reason that they're so expensive is that they were rare. Could only be bought through mail order. Not many people knew about this because you could only order them through the mail, and they have some sort of chip in them or something goofy that third-party companies couldn't duplicate, or they didn't think it was cost-efficient to duplicate. So that's why they're so expensive, and that's why they're so rare. But that is your best option. Component through the GameCube, but like I said, extremely expensive. So here's your side-by-side comparisons. And see, RGB is just so much clearer. It's almost ridiculous how clear it is. And then here's RGB and component. See, even the component through the Wii, it's a little foggy. But that being said, the Wii's video quality and the Wii's hardware is pretty much known for being a generation or two behind everything else that came out at the time. Xbox and the PlayStation 2, everything was much higher quality, and they were going for the 1080i or 720p, and the Wii was fine with doing 480p and 480i. And most people didn't care. If you bought a Wii U, that's what you were expecting, that's what you knew you were getting. But here's your component and your RGB. So in my opinion, RGB through your PAL console is the best. It will cost you a little bit of money, but I love the way RGB looks. It's so clear. The colors are so much more vibrant. You can totally tell by looking at the words at the bottom. Everything's more colorful. I think it's great. But again, that's up to you. I just wanted to put this in for everybody's information. Sorry if it's a little incoherent. I'm pretty tired right now, but that's it. Thanks for watching, everybody. My name's Andy, and I will check you later.